Have you ever said good luck to a friend when they were ready to play for class piano? One day, Edvard Grieg, the composer, was given a cloth frog from a little girl. So every time he would get ready to perform, he would take the cloth frog and he would say, "Good luck." And he would set it close to him, and he felt that it gave him good luck. Sometimes we have these kind of good luck charms, right? And we start out with just maybe one or two. The next thing you know, we think, but if I had more, I'd have better luck. I'd have more luck yet. Oh, I need more luck. I need more luck. The next thing you know, you've got so much luck that you can't even sit down to play. Well, good luck charms are not really what we want for performance. What we want is learning how to practice, to get the most of our practice so we know that we'll be good. We don't need good luck, and we don't need all our friends. But thank you, friends, for helping. Now, the most important thing that a musician can utilize is their skills in theory class and analyzation that you learned in music history as well. The sonatina, you expect to have a theme group 1, a secondary theme group, an exposition, a development, and recapitulation. And in sonatina, the development may not even hardly be there, which is the case this time. As you look at this piece, you see phrase 1. I've marked it for myself. There's my cadence. It ends on a D in the key of G, so that is a half cadence. I have the same phrase that begins equal, but it changes at this point, goes to E minor instead of G. That'd be something I'd circle because you'll be expecting that G, but instead it goes to E. And then this phrase ends on a 5-1. You're right, that's a perfect authentic cadence because they have the G and the G. That's a period structure, 2 phrases that work in parallel form. Then we have something totally different, right? A B section. And that B section has the first phrase. And then you'll notice that it repeats on the next page. The only thing different being the way the left hand works here. And then this little transition type material takes the place of the development. And then the next section is actually a complete repetition of the opening, beginning, exposition. We don't need to practice that one because we already know it. So that's my first step, is to see what is the form of the piece. The next step is to look and see what are the formal theoretical structures in harmony. So we see the first note in the left hand is basically a G major chord. The next is D major. G, G, D, G, D. That's easy enough, right? So with the right hand, then repetition. The E minor. So knowing the harmonies and practicing them in blocked form sets me up to be able to play the piece. That's an important step in learning. Take a phrase, find the harmony, block it, put it back in context. Find the differences in the next phrase. That and this is the only differences we have. Okay, we've learned that section. Then I look at my B theme and notice, okay, there's something different in the way the left hand's working here. Instead of having a chord, I have D and then C. That's basically the 5 chord, right? The bottom and the top of the 5 chord. The next measure, I have a B and a G. G major, right? The 1. So remember back when we did there it is, that we're just missing the F sharp. So in that part, our left hand, 5 to 1, then 5, 1, 5 is what's happening in the left hand after that point. He's kind of alluding to the harmony here, 5, 1, 5. And then, again, it's the same thing. The only thing now, you see how your G major doesn't say, it's not going, but we have D major, G major. So So in that case, I would practice blocking that left hand, working that way. And those theory skills will help you learn the piece quicker. It'll help you teach the piece quicker. That's really important, is to always analyze your music before practicing it. And if you want to learn how to memorize it, it makes it even simpler because you're thinking to yourself, first phrase, second phrase begins the same. I have E minor here. I have a 5-1 cadence here. It's a good set way of practicing that. So this piece will eventually sound like we don't really need to talk much about your harmonization because once again, we're working with the 1, 4, 1, 5, 1 on these. The difficulty will be to keep a rhythm going when you have syncopation in your right hand. How I would practice that first full measure is as such. So 1, 2, 3. See how they don't line up? So the trick is to get your hands to go opposite. Now the left hand. So watch for the syncopation on that one. On burlesque, 1 and 5. Now the bottom of 73, we have a minor piece, this G minor, but again, it's only 1, 4, and 5. So first thing you want to do is set your pattern. It's always good to play that descending 5 sol, fa, and then mi or may, re, do in your right hand to get your hand set up for a piece. You notice that time I played this pattern. Now let's try it with this pattern. Doesn't quite work because of the style of the piece. It worked better. It was more like a dance-like, right? We could do this pattern. Some of you that have had more practice in the background, you can actually move your hand around more. I should tell you on the first line, make sure the third measure goes to the 1 chord. That time we experimented with 5, but that didn't work, right? Because after that point we have a 4. So make sure it's 1, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 5. And I shouldn't need to tell you at this point that you're always going to... Here's a true or false question for you. Last week you did the hand and exercise. Should you repeat that this week? Yes, you should. True. It is good. All the exercises that you learned before, whether they be chords and inversions, or the chord patterns, progressions, the 5-finger warm-ups, the scales in each of the keys, those are all good to review, and you might want to take one excerpt each day to review, as well as to learn the new ones. This week you have the E major scale. You notice that one is a very comfortable hand shape. And Chopin, the famous composer Chopin, used to teach his students E major scale before he taught the C major, because he felt this was harder to do than this one, because it matches the natural hand shape. As a review, make sure that you're teaching your students to grab their hand position from their head, the top, or their knee, coming up to find that natural position. You don't want them tight. You want them just curved and relaxed. So you have the chords, arpeggios, and minors, as well as the scale, E major scales, arpeggios and scales. And then it's all on 69. So this week, as you're practicing, remember to practice carefully and to think about the best way to practice so that you don't need the good luck, but that you're prepared. Because if you start out thinking one little animal will help, the next thing you know, you have shoes that are animals. See you next time.